Hi guys, Mike White here. Just want to introduce you all to my newest book, How to Create the Perfect Sales Webinar. Just thought I'd quickly do a video and just walk you through some of what's inside. So obviously those who do sales webinars, those who've been promoting webinars and those who have been selling online for a long time, what I see is a lot of people putting webinars together that are not quite right, and there's a few very minor easy mistakes to make, and what this book will do is help you just go through and iron out those mistakes and make your webinar convert better. Okay, so first we're going to touch on a webinar should only solve one problem. What I mean by that is when you're creating a webinar, you don't necessarily want to try and solve every single problem the customer has. Choose a problem and then work on that one problem and elaborate on it over and over and over again so that it solves it. Try and make it a big problem, but a problem they're willing to pay to solve. If it works, then if it is, then they will pay to solve it. After that, we're going to go through a webinar should inspire, not educate. Now guys, there's no way you can teach somebody in 60 to 90 minutes everything they need to know on a particular subject, okay? It's not possible. And if you try to do so, you're going to do them a disservice because they're going to leave confused. So what you want to be doing is actually teaching them, inspire them and show them the results that they can get from the teaching, and then obviously move them on to the training course afterwards. You should talk to the individual, not the audience, okay? So if you do know what I mean by that, do you understand what I mean by that? Does that make sense? Now, I've just done it exactly there, okay? So I've just said to you, do you understand what I mean? Does that make sense? Rather than me turning around and saying to you, does everybody understand that? Do you all see what I'm talking about? If you talk to the individual and make it more personal, there's lots and lots of ways of doing it, and it's all in the book, but that will obviously make them feel more like you're speaking to them and not speaking to everybody in the room, and like they're just one of the crowd, and it gives them that personal connection. Loops will keep your customers to the end. Okay, so looping, when you're looping a customer to the end. So basically, in an educational webinar, it's a good idea to find a big problem, a big issue, something that a lot of people in that market have an issue with, that they really want to solve. Like in the lead generation market that I do a lot of business in, people want to figure out how to get lead buyers on board. Okay, so if I turn around and say to somebody at the beginning, if you stay until the end, I'm going to show you exactly how you can get 50 new lead buyers by the end of this quarter without using paid ads. Straight away, everybody's going to stay on the end if they're the right audience. And obviously the audience is very important. You can go onto a webinar with the best presentation in the world and not sell anything at all if you're talking to the wrong audience. If I'm talking to school kids and I'm trying to sell some of a lead generation, it's never going to happen, okay? So audience is key. I think I'm moving on a bit there. The more your audience nods their head, the more that you will sell. So basically ask the questions where people will say yes. Do you understand that? Yes. Are you with me? Yes. Are you happy with that? Yes. Can you see how this works? Yes. You get people nodding their head, they don't know they're doing it, they're subconsciously doing it, and they just get used to saying yes throughout the presentation. Questions equal engagement equal action, okay? So when we're talking about questions, what we're actually talking about is if you turn around and you're asking them specific questions, it causes engagement and it also helps understanding. So you're asking them questions about it, you explain something, can you see why this has this effect? And then you explain why it has that effect, but it gets them thinking about why it has that effect because they're trying to answer the question. So pop it in the box, let me know if you understand why it causes that effect. People buy from people they like, and they like people who are like them, or people they aspire to be like. Okay, so a great example of this, okay? So people like themselves, so they've got common interests. Okay, but they also like people that they aspire to be like. Okay, so whenever you watch these six-pack abs videos, okay, I couldn't do one myself, but when you do, the guys have always got ripped physiques, okay? They always look awesome, because the people that are going on there, that have got man boobs and big bellies and everything else, are looking to be like the people that they're looking at. So they have an instant like, they have an instant attraction, they have an instant, they want to be like that person, okay? People like people that they want to be like. Makes sense. Sell the outcome, not the product. Okay, so if you turn around and you say to somebody, look at this car, it's got a 7-litre engine, it's got this, it's got that, it's got the other, it's got all these fancy things, it doesn't use emissions, it does this, that and the other, not interested, okay? 17-year-old lad wants to buy a new car, yeah, look at the roof that goes down on it, goes really fast, the girls are going to fancy you, done, it's sold. Sell the outcome, don't sell the product itself, or the specifications to the product. Don't confuse people, people are not interested. I think the great example of that was when Apple released a 3-page spec of their computer and it completely flopped. Then they released a 1-page thing that said think different and showed a beautiful picture of a laptop. Then they also did something with geeks and cool guys, but it's the same sort of situation, okay? Don't try and overcomplicate it. Sell the outcome. People want what they cannot have. Okay, great example of this is when you get onto a presentation, if you turn around and say to somebody, I'm going to sell to 7 people only. Okay, you've got an audience of people in front of you and you're talking in a room, or if you've got people on your presentation and you turn around and say, I'm only going to sell this to the first 7 people that get to the front of the stage. Okay, 2 people might be a little bit on the fence, not want to do it, but as soon as you see 5 people up there, they're going to say to themselves, okay, I'm getting up there now, I want this, because otherwise I'm going to lose my opportunity, it's going to cost me £5,000 instead of £1,000. Okay, so people want what they can't have. Hence why people have affairs with other people's wives. Sorry about that. Right. If they do not buy on the day, they will likely never buy. Now, this is so true, okay? If a person comes onto your presentation and they don't buy after the first time I watch it, the chance of them sitting there for another hour or 90 minutes is very unlikely, unless it really resonates with them. So it's a good idea to give them the opportunity and to end at the end, take down the page, no longer sell it or explain that you've got till Sunday to make a decision, okay? And then have a countdown timer on the page and take the offer away at the time that you've said you're going to take it away. People don't give a shit about you. Okay, this is one of the things I see on almost every single presentation I see. Okay, people are trying to prove that they've got relevance and that they're rich and that people want to be like them. And what they do is they spend the first 25 minutes of a presentation telling you how cool they are, how fast their car is, how big their house is, and nobody gives a shit. Nobody really cares, right? All they want to know is this guy's qualified to talk about or to teach me about what he's actually going on about, and everything else is bollocks. Okay, so people don't really care about you. They don't want to know about you. They don't want your life story. And most people turn up to presentations these days 20 minutes late because they know the guy's going to spend the first 20 minutes talking bollocks about himself. Okay, so people don't give a shit about you. There's absolutely no risk to you. What I mean by this is, give them a money back guarantee. In a lot of countries, you have to give a money back guarantee by law anyway, sometimes 30 days, sometimes 15 days, sometimes 14 days, depends where you are in the world. Give them a guarantee and turn it into a positive. Rather than just not mentioning the money back guarantee, explain that there's no risk to you, because if you don't like it, you can come back to me in 2 weeks or in 3 weeks or in 4 weeks and you can get a full refund, no questions asked, okay? There's no risk to them, so they can try before they buy, which means you're selling something decent. See, a lot of marketers who don't like to mention this, and usually it's because they're selling crap. Okay, you're not a robot, so do not act like one. Facts tell, stories tell. So yeah, don't act like a robot. I kind of like I'm on here now, I'm just chatting to you guys, I'm reading out of the book, I'm not planning this. I just like, you know what, I'll let people know about my book. But be yourself, okay? Be your actual self. If you swear a lot, swear a lot. If you've got a checkered past, let people know you've got a checkered past. If you're a proper stuck-up arsehole and nobody likes you, then be that person, because there are people that will like you. The problem is, don't try and be somebody else. Don't try and speak different. Don't try and speak better. Don't try and get on stage and pronounce all your words right, because you'll spend that much time doing that you won't act like yourself and people will see that you're fake. Okay, I think I read 2 by accident then, yeah. Facts tell, stories sell. Okay, so this is probably the most important part of the book. Okay, facts tell, stories sell. What do I mean by that? Right, if you tell somebody a story, it helps them understand, and I'm not going to go into too much detail because there's examples in the book, but if you tell somebody a story, they kind of get it, they kind of understand it. If I was to turn around and say to you, determination pays off, you'd be sat there thinking to yourself, okay, great, determination pays off, I should stay determined. But if I was to tell you a story about a man, like let's say the guy who created KFC, he was in his 60s, he had a recipe, he went round, he got 1,000 people said no to him, no, and then eventually somebody turned around and said yeah, and he created KFC, yeah, and the guy was in his 60s. He probably failed hundreds of times throughout his life, but he never ever give up. He was focused, he was determined, and that determination got him there. If you watch the thing about McDonald's with Ray Kroc, it's exactly the same. The focus, the determination is the key to everything, okay? But that's how the stories sell. If you're telling a story about something like that, people understand it, it inspires them, it gets them to take action. If you just tell them facts, then you're going to blow the crap out of them. And then it goes on to how to structure your webinars. So we're going to go through the title, the introduction, the content, the close, and the questions. And then after that, you get some amazing stuff. So you're getting fill in the gaps. Now, this is something that I put into the book. So rather than having hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages, I've gone through everything that you need with this book, that you absolutely need to know the facts, and then I've given you a fill in the gaps. So what the fill in the gaps is going to help you. First of all, you've got a document there that you can fill in all the gaps, so you've got your presentation created, so just print it off and use it. And in addition to that, I'm giving you fill in the gap slides that you can it's on Google Drive, so you can download it in any format you want and use it whichever your favorite presentation software is. Go through and literally fill in the gaps inside of that presentation, and by the end you will have a half decent presentation. Obviously you'll need to change it a little bit to fit with what you do. Also, we cover the story structure inside here. Now there's an amazing story structure that we cover when we're doing webinars. which is, should I go into it on here? Yeah, why not? So basically what it is I like to create a story structure that I wanted to achieve this. So you let people know that I tried to achieve this and I failed, okay? I tried doing it this way and I failed. And usually the way you try to do it the first time is how everybody else in the industry is trying to do it, okay? So you're explaining to them, this is how everybody's doing it, this is how everybody's telling you to do it, this is how I tried to do it, and this is why I failed. Then you figure something out, some little twist, some little way that actually makes it so that you're not failing, so that you've done it the right way. And usually, like in one of my presentations, I explained that when I first got into rank and rent, I would try to target 5 industries all at once and then run around like an idiot and make no money, because basically I couldn't focus. I was all over the place. My mum said to me, just calm down, pick up one industry and just go after that. Take your time and grow it slowly. Within 12 to 18 months, we had 200 subcontractors working for us, okay? So basically the story structure has 6 main steps. I tried to achieve this, I tried by doing this, I failed, I found out this, I tried doing it this way, and I had success. That story structure is the key to everything when you're doing it on a sales presentation. Okay guys, go and get the book. It's How to Create the Perfect Sales Webinar. You can get the paperback copy now over on Amazon, and the digital copy is out in October. Cheers guys, see you soon, bye bye.